Hey guys, Mrs. Klein here. I just wanted to say that I still miss all of you and I hope that this finds you well. I want to point to the sign back here, World's Best Student. That's all of you guys. All of my students are the best students and I am so thankful for all of you, so blessed by all of you. I love all of you and I want you guys to know how wonderful and how special you are. So thank you for just being so wonderful. Now we are going to do the questions for April, week 1, day 3, 4, and 5 for the moose story and the whooping crane story. So we're going to look at those questions. They're all extended response. We're going to write some of them together, okay? Let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Hold on one second. I believe this is the right screen. Okay. So we have, there we go. I hope you guys can see this okay. I'm going to try to have like a couple screens open because I'm trying to make sure that I can have the text open as well. So I'm not sure how this video is going to turn out, but I think we'll be able to make it work. So question number 1, animal overpopulation can cause animals to run out of food. How can wildlife officials help solve this problem? Okay, so if we look at the story, Moose on the Move, and we scroll down to where it discusses the overpopulation, well, I guess you guys aren't scrolling because you have a hard copy, but turn to where it talks about overpopulation. It says, animal overpopulation can be a big problem. That happens when too many animals live in one area. Those animals can run out of food. Wildlife officials help solve the problem by moving animals to areas where they can find enough food. The map shows how some moose and some bighorn sheep were swapped to keep both groups of animals healthy. Okay, so overpopulation can cause animals to run out. Howard. Okay, so what are they doing to keep the animals from running out of food? We just read it. Good. They are swapping the animals. Remember in that map, it showed that they were taking the bighorn sheep from Colorado, moving them to Utah, and they were taking the moose from Utah and moving them to Colorado. So what we are going to say is, we got to restate this, and we are going to say wildlife officials help to solve overpopulation problems. See how I restated that? Wildlife officials help to solve overpopulation problems by moving animals to areas where they can find enough food. Okay, so they swap out some of the animals, or they just move them if they don't have any animals to swap. Okay, so they're going to move them to areas where they can find enough food. Okay, question number 2. Why were moose and bighorn sheep swapped between Utah and Colorado? Okay, we just read that. I'm going to reread this paragraph and see if you guys can find where this is, but it's pretty funny because we literally just read it. So let me reread this for you. We are looking for why were moose and bighorn sheep swapped between Utah and Colorado. Animal overpopulation can be a big problem. That happens when too many animals live in one area. Those animals can run out of food. Wildlife officials help solve the problem by moving animals to areas where they can find enough food. The map shows how some moose and some bighorn sheep were swapped to keep both groups of animals healthy. So what we are going to say is the moose and bighorn sheep were swapped between Utah and Colorado in order, why were they swapped? To keep both, good. So to keep both animals healthy. So in order to keep both, oh my goodness, both animals, there you go. That's your answer for that one. Good job, guys. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay. What have members, oh, now we're moving to the Whoop It Up story to answer questions 3 and 4. Okay. What have members of Operation Migration been teaching whooping cranes to do? Now, if you don't remember this, you will go back in your story. I do hope that you remember some of it because it was pretty much the whole point of the story. But members of Operation Migration. If you read right here, it says, Operation Migration workers train young whoopers to follow ultralight aircraft or very lightweight planes. Each aircraft is flown by a pilot in a whooping crane costume. In 6 months, the birds would be ready to follow the aircraft and migrate to Florida for the winter. If you look at the paragraph above that, it says Joe Duff is the team leader of a group called Operation Migration. Members have been teaching whoopers to migrate to Florida since 2001. When animals migrate, they move from one place to another. So what are they teaching the whooping cranes to do? What was the fancy word? Yes, migrate. Okay, so to move from one state to the other. So we are going to say, we need to restate this. How am I going to restate the question? What have members of Operation Migration been teaching whooping cranes to do? Good. We are going to restate it. We are going to say, members of Operation Migration have been teaching whooping cranes to migrate. Okay. They've been teaching young whoopers to migrate. Let's add a little more detail. Where are they migrating to in the story? What state? Good. To Florida. All right. There we go. That answers that. Now for the next question, I'm going to have to switch to a different screen here, so give me a moment. Let me go ahead and close that one out. Open this one up. Share my screen with you. This all takes just a moment, you guys. You guys are doing great, though. I'm super proud of you. Okay. Here it is. What problems are scientists trying to solve with Operation Migration? So, what problem are the scientists trying to solve? Let me get my text box ready while you guys are thinking about that or looking back in your text. What problem are they trying to solve? If you look at the second part of the passage where it says bringing back whoopers, it says the whooping crane is an endangered bird. In 1941, only one flock of whooping cranes live naturally in the world. These birds migrated between Canada and Texas. The Canadian and United States governments have protected these birds to help save them. The population increased slowly, but scientists decided that having more than one flock would keep the whooping cranes from dying out. So, what are they trying to solve? Good. From keeping the whooping cranes from dying out. Or if an animal species totally dies out, who knows what that word is? Yes, extinct. Okay, so they're trying to keep them from going extinct. Okay, they were already endangered. They don't want them to go extinct or to go die completely out, as the article says. So we're going to restate this. How am I going to restate this? Good. All right. Scientists are using Operation Migration to make sure that the whooping cranes do not die out. Okay, good. That one was a little tricky on the rephrasing that one, or restating the question, but you guys did well. And you guys can do it how you did it. You don't have to use my restating. You can use your own restating. That's fine. Okay. All right, let's look at the next question. We're going to use both articles to answer questions 5 and 6. Then 5 says, contrast the problems facing the moose in Moose on the Move and the whooping crane in Whoop It Up. So contrast means what? It means to tell how they're different. Good job. Okay, so we're going to tell how the problems that they're facing are different. So the moose has one problem, the whooping crane has another problem. We need to tell what their problems are and how they're different. Or, well, not necessarily for the animal. They're both endangered. But what is the problem in the story with the moose? And what is the problem with the story in the cranes? How are the two stories different, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So what makes the stories different? Okay, good. So what we're going to do is we are going to say, well, let's discuss it before we write anything. So in the story with the moose are only being transferred to neighboring states, okay? They're being transferred from Utah to Colorado. They literally just have to go next door to the next state, and it said like a helicopter will take them, okay? So they're not being flown very far. They're literally going one state over. In the Whoop It Up story, the whooping cranes have to go. Remember that it said, I think it said that they go through 5 different states to get to their route. Let me see this. Oh no, I was wrong. The migration route takes them over 7 states. 7 states, okay? So that's one way how they're different. There are lots of ways that these stories are different. You do not have to pick my way. You can pick your way if you want, okay? So contrast problems facing these two stories. I'm going to say, in the story, Moose on the Move, the moose only have to go over one state to only have to go over one state. I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm not really sure that I'm going to have enough room to write everything that I want to write. Okay, then I'm going to say in the story, it up, the whooping crane has to go over 7 states to migrate. I'm going to add to the moose one real quick. The moose only have to go over 1 state to be swapped. In the story, Whoop It Up, the whooping crane has to go over 7 states to migrate. So in one story, they're being swapped. In another story, they're migrating. In the one story, they're only going over 1 state. In the other story, they're going over 7 states. Okay? So that's a couple differences there. All right. Let's look at question number 6. Question number 6 says, compare the actions of the wildlife officials in the moose story and the scientist in the whooping crane story. So compare means what? Right. Compare means tell how they are similar. How are they the same? What makes them similar, okay? So compare the what the wildlife officials did and compare what the scientists did in Whoop It Up and tell how they are similar. I'm gonna let you guys think for a minute. Okay, let's go ahead and start our sentence. So we're going to say, the wildlife officials in moose on the move and the scientists in Whoop It Up are similar because, guess what, guys? I'm going to let you tell me why they're similar. You guys have to finish the sentence on your own. That's fine. It's only one sentence. You guys can do it. So I'm going to leave it there for you. You guys are going to tell how are they similar? What makes them almost the same? All right, guys. I wanted to just let you guys know that I'm really proud of you. I know that was a lot of writing. I know that was a lot of work, but the questions are supposed to be spanned over a couple days. So you can pause this video next time if you want, or when it gets to next week. I should have said that at the beginning, but I forgot. So you can pause it, you can come back, you can do your few questions, come back to the video, fast forward to your next questions, and kind of break it up so it's not so much. I'm very proud of you guys. You guys are the world's best students, and I cannot wait to see you guys and talk to you. All right, love you, miss you. Bye.